I'm co-host Rich Johnson, and I'm here with my co-host Brent Bouchard.
Hello.
And I'm here with Andrew Duncan.
Hello.
Clint Butler.
Hello.
Johnny Darrel.
How you doing?
Welcome to Gibson's, guys, and appreciate you coming all this way to do your podcast Snack Fest here.
What's the name of the podcast again?
Snack Fest.
Snack
Fest.
I thought it was Snack Time.
Snack Time, that's
Snack
right.
Time, that's right. Yeah.
Yeah.
Because that's the kind of podcast name that sticks in your mind right away when you hear that. Beer Friday? You're never going to remember that. But what was it again?
Snack Time.
It's Beer Friday, a group of animators getting together to swap stories and see whose is better. And of course, drink some beer. Yeah, Beer Friday is finally here.
And then the beer we're drinking today is
Persephone.
You had to pick a name, a beer with a Greek goddess on it.
Persephone.
Persephone?
Persephone.
The goddess of love and virtue.
Persephone is a brewing company in Gibson's. And this is the Oktoberfest issue. But yeah, we're in Gibson's, and we're at Johnny Darrel's cabin in the woods.
A micro cabin. And this episode should be called Cabin in the Woods.
Yes, definitely.
Halloween.
So yeah, drink up, guys.
Yeah.
Cheers.
So this is a pumpkin beer, right? Oh, yeah.
Yeah, that was good.
That's not bad.
Yeah, I thought I was going to hate it.
There's pumpkin in that?
Yeah, you know what? That's not too pumpkin-y, am I right?
Everything gets overkilled in
Yeah.
October with the pumpkin spice.
Pumpkin spice and shit.
Yeah, and I was expecting to hate this, and I don't.
We're not supposed to swear on this podcast, though, right, Rich?
Did I just swear?
I did.
mean-
I said,
You can swear.
I said shit.
You can't say shit.
Okay.
You can say everything else.
Everything else but shit.
Yeah.
Okay.
Don't say shit.
Did I just say shit again?
You did shit.
Oh, shit.
Shit.
Start over.
We'll have to bleep all that out.
No, as pumpkin drinks go.
Well, you know what? I'm looking at it
Because
now.
there's no pumpkin in it.
It doesn't say anything about pumpkin on the label.
That makes a lot of sense.
That's why.
It has an orange
I think that's a hop.
hop on it.
Yeah, so it just says Oktoberfest.
So
Pumpkin
it just
shit.
you got duped.
yeah, but that's okay.
Trick or
That's-
treat.
Okay, I'll start the favorite thing. Yeah. Okay, so I was bouncing around on the internet this week and I came across some memes. You guys might have seen these. They're like fat pictures of Axl Rose now, and they've become a meme. And they're like, because I guess Axl Rose was doing a concert in Winnipeg or somewhere in Canada at a Canadian concert. And somebody snapped a photo and he's like really fat and he's got a mustache and he's all bloated and sweaty. It's a really unflattering photo. And then somebody put it online and then it's just like memes all over the place. I should pull it up because it's pretty funny.
It's the one where he's kind of marching towards camera.
Yeah.
He looks like he's coming to get you.
Yeah. Let me pull it up because it'll be worth the wait. Just give
That
me a second here.
Axl's coming for you.
But there's more to it. There's a B story. Here, hang on.
Sing something internet searchy, Clint.
That's more. It's more.
It was exactly what I was thinking.
I've got French fries in me pockets and I don't know what to do in the most delightful way.
Yes. Lovely. Johnny.
What do you call that song?
French fries in me pocket.
Axl Rose got mad and he decided to use the Digital Millennium Copyright Act in the States, which means that like even if you're at a concert and you take a photo of somebody, it's that artist's property, even though you took the photo. So Axl Rose is trying to claim that he owns the rights to that photo. So he's trying to pull the image off the internet and like wipe Google of this like fat meme. And all that happens when you hear about that is that people are just going to go look at it more. And it's like a fat picture of Axl and it's going like, it'll say something like, "Welcome to the jungle, we got cakes and pies," you know, and just stupid stuff like that. Like not even clever. It's just like, yeah.
And he's trying to eradicate it from the internet.
He's trying to wipe it clean from the internet, and it'll never happen. But
Well, nothing makes something stay on the internet more than trying to get it off.
then getting really upset about it and trying to, I'm gonna get it off Google. It's like, no, you're not. It's there forever.
It's like shouting at clouds or something.
Right.
Yelling at the ocean.
So that's what I got. Yeah, welcome to the bakery. We got cakes and pies. And there was another one that said, whoa, 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 wings. Yeah. And they're just shit like that. I guess it's a big blow to his ego, though, because, like, all he was just a skinny rocker. Now he's like, nobody's seen him in 25 years. And next thing you know, he's just, you know, like, nobody looks the same as they did 25 years ago.
I was going to say, like, I mean, Axl, not a big surprise. You know?
Yeah.
Hey, I'm 50 and I gained weight.
Yeah.
It's like when
Shocking.
I found a photo on the internet of Eddie Van Halen, and he looked like a ghast. and honestly,
He's a ghast or he's a ghast?
A ghast. Speaking of Halloween episode, no, it was just like years ago. There was a photo of Eddie Van Halen I saw, and it honestly made me kind of bounce away from my computer, like pull away.
It was
like,
a jump scare.
Yeah, jump. Honestly, and it was him. He was at some award show, and it was him smiling, and he was like almost toothless, and he was gaunt. Like I say, he was kind of like a ghast.
For those unfamiliar with Dungeons and Dragons, can you explain what a ghast is?
It's like a white.
Thanks for the clarification.
And cleared up.
Yeah.
Let me tell you something about Dungeons and Dragons and whites. I always played a fighter.
Always on about the whites.
I always played a fighter, and I loved to just charge in and attack whatever. But if anybody brought a white along, if a DM threw a white into the room, I was a running.
Your character was scared of ghosts.
And all characters.
No.
All of my.
I'm saying what I'm
characters
saying
were
is
afraid of them.
I'm scared of whites, and I'm scared of ghasts.
Okay.
What monkey? You've been listening to my dad wrote a porno
Podcast. My dad wrote a porno.
Yeah.
Have you ever heard of it? It's shooting up the charts.
I've heard of it.
Yeah.
What is it about?
It's this British guy named Jamie. His dad had heard about 50 Shades of Grey.
Fitty
50 Shades of Grey. Had seen that and thought, oh, I could do that. So he ended up writing his own erotic novel called Belinda Blinks under the pen name of Rocky Flintstone. And then what they do is every week, every Sunday, they read a chapter of the book. He reads it out loud with his two friends, and they just laugh at the book because his father has absolutely no idea about female anatomy or how sexual acts actually work. Like his
I don't think he understands how humans operate.
Yeah, I don't think he really does. And his terms for things, he uses like really odd, like he uses the, instead of saying lips, he'll say lids. So, you know what I mean? He opens her lids. And then you're kind of like,
Well, maybe he's doing weird eye stuff, you know?
they don't know, but it's the weirdest. But it is it's honestly the funniest podcast I've listened to since the Ricky Gervais podcast,
Right.
where they used to make fun of Carl.
Yeah.
I used to kill myself laughing at that one.
I would be on the Sky Train, grinning like an idiot, listening to that.
Yeah.
Oh, one thing I saw Echo and the Bunnymen last week or the week
nice.
before, and that was awesome.
Live?
Yeah,
Where
Not
were they
just on the
playing?
street
at the
corners,
Commodore. Yeah,
busking.
at the Commodore.
I really
Sounded
like that
amazing.
band.
Yeah, they were fantastic. The
Sing us
singers.
a song.
The Killing.
Spare us the cutter.
That was pretty good, actually.
Yeah.
Yeah, thank you.
Couldn't cut the mustard. That was my favorite part about that. That was my favorite line.
Did you say
song.
mustard?
It was mustard, wasn't it?
Couldn't cut the mustard.
Couldn't cut the mustard.
Don't cut the mustard right now, because this is a very small cabin.
You don't want it to be mustard.
You don't want
Colonel
mustard stains in
in
there.
a small cabin.
The thing, I get up at 5 a.m. and I don't get home till sometimes 10 if the ferry's late, and I am tired and I don't get to see anything. But
And that's his favorite thing.
yeah.
Just his eyelids.
What I can't get enough of, and anytime I have a spare moment, it's Titanfall on Xbox One. it's just stimulating.
That's a video game.
Yeah, you are it's a first-person shooter, and you run around with guns and you shoot other guys, and then every once in a while, depending on how well you're doing, shooting other people, headshots and grunts and other pilots, and pilots are the online players. And depending on how well you do, you cut down the time on which you get to call down a Titan, which is a giant mech suit. And these things, you call it down, and they fall from the sky, and you run and you jump in your mech suit, and then you run around in your mech suit, blowing people and things up. And it's just, it's absolutely fantastic. And it's so stimulating because there's missiles and smoke and lightning and lasers and robots and bullets and death and jumping.
This list could go on forever.
You jump and it's like parkour.
Like a 4-year-old describing.
and you just, while you're doing all this, you're constantly saying to yourself, "How am I doing this?" And it boggles your mind.
Wow.
It's mind-boggling.
It is.
Did you
It's
say
mind-
buggles?
Does it have like a story? Is it a story mode, like a campaign you're on? Or
No,
is it
it's
like
strictly you jump from the sky out of a plane, you land on the ground, you start running, and you can turn invisible.
Wow.
Sounded like a dream then.
Yeah.
And then I turned invisible, and then you were there, and you were a car tire. Yeah.
I say we just take a quick break and play this game for
Yeah,
like at least.
we go
we'll
up
take-
and play it. I think you're gonna all
Yeah.
be mind boggled.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And we're back. That was really
we're
fun.
back.
Yeah, amazing.
Wow. That was like a dream.
I brought my virtual reality Google Cardboard.
Oh, sweet.
I'm gonna get Monkey, if you're okay with this, to be the participant. It's a VR game called Sisters, and it might be a little bit scary.
I've changed my mind.
But it all looks like cartoon CG. Like, it doesn't look that real.
Okay, I'm back in again.
So you're gonna experience that, and then we're gonna watch you on the Mac
Okay, I'm out again.
and it'll actually go into the mixer, so everybody will be able to hear it. And then you're just sort of explain what you're seeing, and we'll also see what you're seeing, so we'll be with you. Cool. So Monkey's got the virtual reality goggles on, the Google Cardboard, and can you describe what you're seeing, Monkey?
All right. So I'm in a room. There's a TV on static. I look around. It's actually not a bad room.
Nice wallpaper.
There's
Nicely
thing
appointed.
behind me.
Is that a ghost?
Picture of a woman.
That's what is
Some
that?
furniture covered in cloth.
You sure?
Empty bookcase. This is neat. Oh, the little girl's sitting there. She's sitting on the couch. She just looked at me. Hello? Does she have a knife in her hand? I'm gonna look away. That means you go away. I'm looking away.
No.
I'm looking away.
No.
I'm looking away.
Okay, do it.
I'm looking away.
No.
Oh my gosh, it was right there!
The end. Oh, I've never been so scared in all my life.
The one thing I don't like about it is the video is not quite there yet, so everything's a bit blurry when you watch live video.
And is there a frame rate?
Yeah, it's probably 60.
Because they're saying 60 is the frame rate of what the equivalent of the human eye is at.
Oh yeah.
Oh, really?
60 frames per second.
That's what IMAX did, right?
That's what I max at.
I'm 58. Could never make it to 60. Such a disappointment to my father.
I can't see hummingbirds. It's the weirdest
I
thing.
just can't. They look like they have no wings. They look like these little floating torsos. They need to be eaten. That's not true. Don't eat hummingbirds anymore.
And you know what? That's a good segue into snack time.
Yeah. Okay.
Cue the snack time song.
See, this is, yeah.
Time.
I've got French fries in me pockets, and I don't know what to do with them in the most delightful words.
Snack time.
We're looking at sour. What is
Oh,
this?
you mentioned that. Something super sour.
The sour foam?
I'm going for it.
fun.
Let me have it.
It's foam candy. It looks
Let me
like
have it.
It looks like silly string, but it's like a foam. It's like
Don't-
a canister, an aerosol can of candy.
It's like hoops.
I've never been so happy in all my life.
Oh wow, emotional roller coaster for Johnny tonight. Oh boy.
Oh, dude.
Wait, that was shaving cream. Hang on.
Yeah, oh, I gave you the wrong one.
No. Pretty awesome.
Going for more. Wow. Warm like froth. It's like
It's
sour
like
froth.
Sour froth.
Shake it.
I shook it up. It's still.
It's really disgusting.
Yeah.
Yeah, you can't have too much of that.
It's
without
like
feeling
someone.
it's too sick.
It's like someone ate a sour fizz, chewed it up, and then spit it back in your mouth.
Yeah.
Oh, remember those candies?
Yeah.
from the-
Oh yeah. That's
No,
gonna
Pop
break
Rocks.
the microphone.
Next one is Pop Rocks.
I think this is yours, Clint.
And
Choco punch.
I got a super sour Warhead, but it's a spray. Oh, I'm gonna do
Gonna get some pop.
sour
Rocks.
spray and Pop Rocks at the same time.
The rumor is you could die doing that.
Yeah.
See?
It went up his nose.
That's what it does to you. It gets you right at the back.
He just did a rail.
I haven't had the spray
Try the
yet.
sour
Spray's
spray.
pretty
It hits
intense.
you right at the back of the throat.
Okay.
It's sour instantly.
This is awful. What did...
Oh, he did it.
Nobody.
He
has
went up the
snort.
nose.
He actually did it.
Yeah, he's regretting his decision.
Oh, Johnny doesn't make the best choices. Yeah, he's fine.
Ain't no thing like a chicken wing.
Dude, your nose is bleeding.
This is a worm snack. It's the original worm snack. Larvettes. It's cheddar cheese. They look like they're basically maggots.
There's
Real
no
Those are
goddamn
like-
way you're getting me to eat.
The larvettes.
No, you
original.
gotta just do them. I don't want to eat them either, man.
snacks.
No good.
Goddamn.
Johnny, have you eaten bugs before?
palm full of them.
I think I had a cricket, like a peanut butter cricket once.
All right.
Oh.
You got maggots in your
Jesus.
pocket and you don't know what to do with them? In the most delightful way.
It's like eating dust.
There you go.
Okay.
Yeah, I've never been
Oh,
big
that was
fan.
a bummer.
I'll try it. I've never been a big fan of dust.
Yeah. Like if these were in my house alive, I'd move out. You know? But since they're
shoving them into my mouth.
yeah,
But
since
since
they're
they're in a
they're
snack
like
store.
they're dried out and they're covered in cheese, so I'm gonna try them. I can describe it as they look like the worm, but it's just hollow.
Yeah.
There's nothing to it.
Yeah.
I think the gross part of a bug is usually the wet stuff inside,
Yeah.
right?
No,
And that's all gone.
It's just a dry, husky shell of what used to be a living
It's like
thing.
eating the outside of a fly. like if you ate a bunch of fly
Outside
wings.
of a
That's what-
Yeah.
You know what? The flavor though, there is a real disgusting like that a pet store smell
Yeah.
that I'm tasting.
yeah.
Yeah, that-
like wood
'cause
chips.
it's
You know,
turtle.
Yeah.
It's turtle food.
Turtle food.
So I asked the guy at the candy store, and I picked candy because it's Halloween. So I asked the guy like for the most what's the candy that you have that's like the most sour, and then he was like points to one right by the cash register. These ones. I'm like, okay. He goes, yeah, you give one of those to someone and they'll cry.
I'll give it a go.
Johnny,
Yeah,
we're all
cheese.
in.
Yeah.
Surprise, surprise. Johnny's willing to try.
Yeah.
So I just put this up my nose.
Yeah, I think so. Yeah.
These are a suppository,
Yeah.
Johnny.
Yeah, this is
These
right.
go up your
I
ass.
gotta go upstairs.
Yeah.
Okay, so here we go. Wow, hard candy. I pretty fucking sour.
Oh, there's
Pretty fucking sour.
so like, oh, his face is almost it's almost inside out.
He can't unsour.
Yeah. He looks like a black hole.
I feel like one too. I like my nose is running. Is anybody else's sinuses filled with sour stuff?
This reminds me of
Mouths,
right.
yeah.
Ars face from
I'm a-
Preacher. He's starting
I'm
to
a-
look like.
I'm a fucking mess.
Sour mess.
Okay, the sour's going away. It's going away and it's becoming quite a delicious candy.
Well done.
So it's just
That's a better sales job than Rich did.
I couldn't make it to the middle.
You know what?
to the
I
middle.
think this might be your ultimate trick or treat.
All right, guys, that was snack time.
that was good.
My nose is runny.
You got about 4 ounces of candy in there.
Story time.
I was telling this story the other day, and I figure that nothing more relevant than the fact that I just snorted super sour warheads. And I was I was series directing a show, and I went in to visit one of the directors. And at the time, at the studio, there was a big, this event where everybody was trying to bulk up, and whoever could grow the biggest muscle mass in a month would win. And so everybody's bulking up, and there's whey powder everywhere.
It's not the kind of thing you think of when you think of an animation studio. Let's all bulk up, everybody. Yeah.
Normally someone would bring that up, then you go, "No, I'm good."
Yeah, and so I went into one of the director's edit suites to talk to him about a scene, and sitting on his desk was this big bucket of whey powder, and so we were just talking about it. I wasn't involved in the event, but he was. And I dumped some of the whey powder onto the desk and chopped it up and made some lines. And I snorted it. And
much like he feels now. Yeah.
Yeah. And
he snorts stuff. Let's just
let's just say Johnny snorts things.
I just snort. I'm just a big snorter.
It's how he processes information.
That's how I'm like a snake in its tongue. I lick the air. I snort stuff, and I
snort stuff.
He's just super evolved.
It's the only way for me to understand it. Truly understand it is to put it in my nose.
So I made a line of whey powder and I snorted it, and then to just add to the effect, I felt like, this should be like a comic book moment, like the origin story. And it's just, too much whey powder all at once. And I kind of raised my fists and, clenched all my muscles and because it was way too much whey all at once. And
no way.
And at that, and everybody on that floor, obviously were concerned and wondering what the fuck was going on.
The screaming, yeah.
But yeah, what with the screaming, and
snorting
so
and
all
screaming.
so and like, these little offices are off to a main floor where there's about 30 or so animators all working at their desks. Now they're not working, and they're looking in, and I realize how ridiculous this is. But I also realized that the owner of the studio is giving a tour.
I noticed two things.
So there he is. The owner of the studio is standing on the other side of the room looking in with a bunch of suits. And the look on his face was kind of like, I can't believe this is happening. And then he says to the guys, as you can see, our directors are quite committed. They really get into the scenes.
Oh. Yeah. Nice cover.
Yeah. And there's another huge pile of it, like Scarface on the desk. You know what I mean? And the editor's cutting it up. Wow! Yeah.
I pulled out the Nerf guns and said, "Hey, say hello to my little friends."
Weren't
I
you?
shot the suits in the nuts.
I remember that story as you were up on the desk like a gargoyle.
Yeah, I think I was on the desk. I think I jumped up onto the desk.
It's hard to remember with so much weight.
I wanted to rip my shirt off just to get into it more.
Right.
But then I'd be like, well, now I have no shirt.
Yeah.
So I realized there's a limit to what you can
Right.
do and what
So
you want to do.
So there was thoughts going on.
Yeah, I wanted to Hulk.
Well, I can tell you a story. I don't know how funny story it is.
Tell us a story about
No,
it.
when I started at 96 at Mainframe, the series itself had no overriding director. It was just the producer, production manager, 2 coordinators.
So it really was just going autopilot.
It really was. And then episode directors, you got your script and your dialogue. You didn't till later start going to the voice records, but you got your script and your dialogue on the first day of your show. You handed that to your editor. Your editor started editing your dialogue on the first day of your schedule of your show. Your supervisor and you your supervising animator and you then had to hand out all of the shots to the 8 animators, or as much as you could to get them going.
Yeah.
And the animators had to block their shots, set up their shots, animate the shots, model any props that were in the shots, do any effects that were in the shots, render it, comp it, and submit it as a final.
So they were generalists.
They had to do all
They were
that
doing
whole
everything.
process on everything, and it's
And
25
this was-
seconds a week.
And this was 96, so they were doing it on like a Tandy 1000.
Yeah, they were doing it on those crazy
Yeah.
big octanes, those
Right.
green ones, and then before that, I think it was
things,
the
yeah.
purple.
Yeah, they were
the
purple.
purple.
Yeah,
What
yeah.
were those?
SGI.
So were you
Yeah,
series
yeah.
series directing on that?
No, I was an editor on
Okay.
that when I started, and then I got to.
There
Direct.
was also a little story you told me. You were all at lunch or something, and you said one of the guys, the producers or something, saw you stand
we
up.
were at the Bosman. We were at Bosman's, which was like the little bar across the street from Mainframe. So it was like right across the street. Everybody used to go there and drink all the time. You tried not to go there too early.
Was that
in the
on
daytime?
Was it on 4th still?
No,
It was back
it was
when it was
on
downtown
Howe
Howe.
Street.
Oh, okay,
When
okay.
it was down. It was the Bosman's Motor Inn now. I don't know what it's called
One of
now.
the shittier motel,
It was a really little
hotels in
shitty little kind
Vancouver.
of bar called the Sibidar or Sidebar.
Sidebar.
Because it used to be a judge's.
Oh.
judge's.
The Sibidar.
Well, the Sibidar was he went to the owner Gino of the bar used to go to Mexico for his vacation, and what he would do is he'd go to Mexico and he'd get. You know how they'll wrap up lighters and stuff for you and do any name you want. So he would get them to do Sidebar, and he'd get these little lighters made up down in Mexico. You know, we were all wrapped up with string and everything, and it said Sidebar on it. But the person got them all wrong, and he came back with a whole bunch that said Sibidar. So it was the Sibidar, and everybody was like Sibidar. And then there's an episode of Reboot that the bar that they go into is called the Sibidar.
Oh, that's awesome.
Yeah,
Oh,
based
nice
on
little
based on
fact.
that.
There's an
Yeah.
Easter egg for the
Yeah.
fans.
You know, Reboot has so many little anecdotal, tiny little Easter eggs throughout. Because, like you were saying, there was really no one governing it.
Right.
There were no notes.
So just
there were
people
no,
throwing in their
no
own
network
little fun
notes.
things.
Nobody was really governing it because it was magic, right?
Yeah.
At that time. Same with Beast Wars. It was we're under a spell. You guys, we don't know what you're doing, and we don't know how you do it. Just keep doing it.
Right.
And it was. There were some questionable things.
Because those were seriously two of the first CG series.
Yep. They were the two.
Stuff.
Reboot was the
Reboot
first.
was one, and then
And that has a huge cult following now.
Transformers Beast Wars was the
Yeah.
next one. And there were some real questionable things in there that even then, when I was a young lad, when I was a young kid, I remember there was an episode where fucking Megatron backhands Black Arachnia. You know, he full on backhand to the face.
Yeah.
And even then, I was like, that's unacceptable.
right. You were giving yourself a QC call.
Yeah, I was.
One thing, he's
I
a
was.
Tyrannosaurus.
Yeah.
He's not backhanding anybody with those little arms.
No, this
You know
is
what I mean?
before he was a this
Oh,
is
this is when
before
he's in his robot
yeah,
form.
in robot
no,
form.
yeah, and then he had a he had a transform.
No, that was before that. Yeah, and he backhands Black Arachnia, and I'm like, holy fuck, are you kidding me? And I don't know who the director of that episode was, but that would be, you know, whoever the director.
It could never happen in an episode.
No, nowadays, no. Nobody could do that. Nobody would want to do that or shouldn't do that. But you know, back then, whoever the director was of that particular episode, it kind of like, if that's what they think entertainment is, it's bullshit.
Right.
But nobody called anybody on that at that time because they didn't have to, because it was all magic. It was all this new CGI thing, and
Right.
and you know, I don't know, maybe beyond what we know, maybe someone at the network said you shouldn't do that, and then someone higher up said, well, too late now, it's CGI.
Yeah. They
How
already-
would we change
We
it?
can't change anything. The computer did it.
The computer says no.
Yeah. Yeah. So and I remember when notes started coming in, we were like, "Who's giving these notes?" And I remember one of the notes being, in the background was a mountain range, and the I guess some of the Maximals or something were flying across the sky, and there was a note about one of the mountains. Please revise the shape of the mountains in the background, as one of the peaks seems a bit phallic.
You're like, what, the penis one?
Yeah. Mount Penis?
Yeah, Mount Penis.
Yeah.
Way
That
to
was
the
the
roughs.
first time. That was the first note I remember going, who's making these calls? Like, who has the right to do this?
I want that job.
Yeah.
That's what I want to do.
I want to give
Yeah.
notes
I want to
on these
look
crap.
for Penis Mountain.
Yeah.
Hey, Clint, you have a story. You kind of mentioned to me about working at EA and kind of a fish out of water.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, can you talk about that a little bit?
Oh yeah, I suppose I could. When I graduated from film school as a character animator, really the only game in town was Mainframe, and they just laid off like 40 animators, so there was nothing to do. So I started doing some freelance stuff, and I'd done some storyboarding. I'm not a great artist, but I'd done some storyboarding for a commercial director. A few years before, as he was pitching some commercial ideas.
Oh, but I've seen you draw like pretty good pictures of dicks, so you're a pretty good artist.
Oh well,
Rich
thank
is
you.
right.
Thank
It
you.
is a self-portrait.
It is
by the
a
way.
wonderful.
Thank you.
I have seen these illustrations of penises, and they're top notch.
Yeah, well, you guys flatter me, but they're not. And so I was willing to do anything that was remotely related to the industry that I wanted to get into. And so I was doing some PA work, some film stuff, and I got a call from this director that I used to work with. He said that he was helping out on a game trailer at EA, and they needed a storyboard artist. And would I be wanting to do that? And I was like, yeah, I'll come down to EA and do some storyboards. And I was so out of my element. Like, I went to EA. I called my boss on the film. I was the lead guy on a set, a high school. We were locking out a high school. So I was this guy that was supposed to be there and know how to turn off the air conditioning and all that shit. And I called him and I said, I got this opportunity, and he said, go for it. I'll find somebody else to do it. So I went down there. Literally a couple hours later, I was at the EA offices. And I don't know if you guys have ever been in that building. You must have, right?
The old one?
The one in Burnaby, the big campus.
Drove
with the
by it.
cafeteria and the soccer pitch and it's an intimidating place. And so
It's intimidating too if it's
Yeah.
your first thing and you already feel like, hey, maybe don't have enough experience.
and
to be
honestly, I did not have anywhere near enough experience to be doing that.
Yeah.
Nowhere near. But I was like, so they take me up to a boardroom and they say, okay, this is what we need. And they sit me down. I'm just staring at a fucking blank piece of paper with a pencil in my hand. One storyboard artist had already done the kind of foreground stuff, so I was just filling in the background stuff. It was way too detailed, and the perspective was all over the map. It was really terrible, but I met George Zamilski there because he was the guy who was actually directing the trailer, it turned out. And so that turned out to be a fortuitous meeting because George got me in at Mainframe eventually and stuff. So I guess the moral of the story is just do whatever is related to what you want to do, and it may work out. They did call me back. They did call me back a year later to come back and do some storyboards again. So I must not have done that terrible a job.
So sometimes jumping into out of your comfort zone is good, right? Because you jump into the fire and you just have to do it.
Well,
right?
Richard Branson's got that quote. If you know,
right?
if people, if he says, if you don't know what you're doing, but you can draw penises, do that.
Yeah.
That's the quote.
Like, this isn't anything to do with animation, but it is to do with your career, Andrew. You were in, I think, what do you call it? Video, audio.
Yeah, I was working at the Justice Institute.
Oh, I love that.
I
there
love
was
this
that-
story. I love this
Superheroes and
I love this story.
What is it? Tell me about
The
it.
short shorts.
Oh, the short.
Are we talking about short films or are we talking about bands here?
Yes.
Literally short shorts.
Oh, that's so good.
Oh yeah. Okay, so I used to work at the Justice Institute, and they had a media center there, and the media center used to make training videos for cops and firefighters in the ambulance, and that's what the Justice Institute did, was train.
So they're not. This isn't the Justice League. Right?
No, it's not the Justice League. We weren't. We always
They're
thought of it
affiliated. You're affiliated.
as. I'm affiliated with the Justice League, but on a much smaller level, more of a sidekick type
this is
league.
right.
Yeah. They don't deal with superhero or supervillain aspects. It's more of the aftermath.
Yeah.
Yeah. It's like Aquaman's office.
Firefighters going in and cleaning up the mess Batman left behind.
Right.
So anyway, and another part of that, so I used to work on the video teams doing that sort of stuff, production side. But another part of my job was going into the classrooms, and somebody would be giving a lecture or something and they would want it videotaped. So what I would do is I would bring in a camera, VHS camera on a tripod, hook it up to a TV monitor, bring the monitor in, plug it in, make sure it was all working, turn to the instructor, thumbs up. They'd be happy, I'd leave, and they'd do their stuff, and then at the end of the day, I'd go around collect all the TVs. You know, it was a job. So one day I got up to go to work in the morning, and I always had a hard time going to work because it was in the morning. And I got up, and I was Melanie, my wife, then girlfriend, had stayed over, and so I got up and quickly dressed, threw on a pair of shorts, shirt, I don't know, some shoes, I'm sure. And then I'm sure I was wear shoes. Yeah. And then I run and I catch the bus and I'm heading out. It was out in Jericho, so I was catching the 4th Avenue bus on the way up. And I'm kind of I remember kind of sitting on the bus and kind of looking down at these shorts I'm wearing. It's just kind of and they're kind of rolled up and you're kind of well, these are a little. And so I start pulling them down and unrolling them. And why would I be rolling them up so high? So I kind of roll them down a bit. And then so I just continue to go to work, and I have to go and take TVs around to the different
must
classrooms.
have at this point known.
Well, I still didn't really catch it, and I remember one of the other guys that I worked with there. They were all I was 24, so they were probably 10 years old or so 30. I remember coming in the shorts, and I remember catching Kurt's eye, Kurt Hunter looking at me but not saying anything, but going. His eyes follow you across. You're that's weird. He's kind of looking at me as I walk around as I strut about.
Bending over
you don't even know you have.
Yeah.
You don't even know you have short shorts on, but you start strutting in them. You can't help yourself. So I had to take the TVs to the classroom. So I rolled this TV into this classroom full of cops. So I'm walking around, and half of the job of setting up a monitor and the thing is bending over to plug it in, moving the cameras, plugging the cables in. So I'm moving around. I'm plugging this stuff in. My shorts I'm aware that they're short now, but I still haven't realized I'm wearing Melanie's shorts. Okay. I haven't realized that yet.
Oh.
Yeah. She realized it right away when she tried to put mine on. These aren't mine.
Right.
Yeah, so I wore my girlfriend's shorts to work the one day and had an HR complaint. Yeah. But the worst thing about it was, after that, is Kurt, the guy that saw me, would tell you that story that I wore short shorts every day. And that's the worst thing that happened in that story, because it happened once, but in his mind, because it was so focused in his mind, we laughed so hard after the HR complaint when I had to come back, and they're like, where were you? I had to go to Shelley's office, and there was an HR complaint against me and my short shorts.
I love that your shorts were so short they were inappropriate for the workplace.
For the Justice Institute.
Yeah.
Where's the justice?
Where's the justice?
Yeah.
Oh,
and cops. The cops couldn't have, put up with it a little bit.
Well, Melanie would have been wearing your shorts.
Yeah, and she got promoted.
Yeah.
You know what? Long shorts are in this year.
Yeah, no, I like those manly shorts on you, girl. Yeah. And that rope you have, keeping them up, is great. All right, man, that's great.
That was a good one.
Well, thanks, guys. And,
Thanks for having us here, man.
Yeah. Well, good night.
Cool.
I roofied one of you guys, so we'll find out in a minute.
Hey, Russian roofie.
Russian roofie.
Trigger warning.
Yeah.
It's Beer Friday, a group of animators getting together to swap stories and see whose is better. And of course, course, drink some beer. Yeah, Beer Friday is fun.